Imagine a world where the land you walk on is more dangerous than the water you swim in. Sounds impossible, right? Yet, there was one moment in history when the oceans were safer than the continents. It was a time when creatures ruled the land with terrifying jaws, claws, and speed. Humans didn't exist yet, but even the largest predators of the time were stuck on land. Meanwhile, the seas offered refuge, food, and safety. Today, we dive into that strange chapter of Earth's history. We're going back around 250 million years to the late Permian period. The Earth looked very different. Vast deserts stretched across continents. Volcanic eruptions reshaped the land, and massive earthquakes shook everything. On land, survival was brutal. Giant predators roamed and food was scarce. Every step could be a deadly mistake. Life had no safety nets. Only the strongest survived. The late Permian was home to monsters that make even T-Rex look tame. Massive therapsids, sometimes called mammal-like reptiles, dominated. They were fast, smart, and deadly. One wrong move and you'd be gone in seconds. Every herbivore had to constantly watch for predators. Every predator had to fight to eat. The land was a constant battlefield. But the oceans, they were calm, vast, and mostly safe. The oceans offered protection. Most of the deadly land predators couldn't swim or hunt in water. Fish and early amphibians faced far fewer threats. The sea became a refuge for life, a place where you could survive without constantly running from death. Coral reefs and shallow seas were teeming with life, but no monster was waiting just to eat you. For the first time in history, moving into water increased your odds of survival. The oceans were filled with strange, fascinating creatures. Early sharks patrolled, armored fish glided, and massive sea scorpions ruled shallow waters. Life in the ocean was dangerous, but nothing compared to land. For some creatures, water became their permanent home. Evolution was pushing life towards safer aquatic environments. Survival wasn't about speed anymore. It was about adaptation. Then came the Permian-Triassic extinction, the largest extinction in Earth's history. Over 90% of species on land disappeared. Volcanoes, climate change, and oxygen loss made survival almost impossible. Oddly enough, many marine species survived, including certain fish and invertebrates. The oceans remained a safer place than land, reinforcing the strange fact that water was a haven in a dying world. Today, the oceans are still relatively safe compared to the wild unpredictability of land. Sharks, dolphins, and whales dominate vast spaces with fewer natural threats. The story of the late Permian shows us that even in chaos, life finds sanctuary. It also reminds us how fragile land life can be, especially in the face of rapid change. If humans had existed back then, the oceans would have been the only safe option. Land would have been almost suicidal. This flips our perspective. Today we fear the deep sea, but millions of years ago, it was the sanctuary, not the danger. It's a reminder that our instincts are shaped by modern life, not the deadly landscapes of ancient Earth. The only time in history that water was safer than land was brief but profound. It changed the course of evolution and life on Earth. The story of the late Permian reminds us that life is resilient, adaptable, and always seeking safety, even in the most unlikely places. Next time you swim in the ocean, remember, there was a time when it was the safest place on the planet. Why does this matter? It's a reminder that life adapts in surprising ways. When the land became too dangerous, species shifted to water, evolving into fish, amphibians, and eventually, mammals that would return to the oceans millions of years later. Survival is about recognizing where safety lies, even if it's unexpected.